Welcome to the Georgetown Tea House. Joining us this evening is Kristojay Paul. She's a broadcaster and a gospel singer. So I'm inviting you to go grab something to drink, hot or cold. And while you're doing that, Kristojay will introduce herself.
Good evening, everyone, and welcome to 15 Questions. My name is Marcel, and with me this evening is Kristojay Paul. Kristojay, please introduce yourself.
Hello, everyone. Well, my name is Kristojay Paul. That's Kristojay. You can see it there. People tend to get my name mixed up. I've had so many misspellings and mispronunciations, but that's fine. It's how it is. I'm a wife to Reverend Roger Paul. I'm a mother. I am a gospel artist. I'm a radio announcer. I am an author, a writer. Most of all, I'm a woman of God. I'm a woman seeking after God's own heart and what it is that He would have for my life.
Okay. Welcome. Hello, everyone. Welcome. Thank you for choosing the Georgetown Tea House. It's another Monday night, and we're so happy and thrilled that you're here. All right, I got these lovely gentlemen with me tonight. Handsome, might I add. And I'm coming to them shortly. Let them introduce themselves. All right. But right now, I want to thank you for joining us. I want to invite you to like the Georgetown Tea House page. So if you're on YouTube, make sure you're clicking on the subscription button and the notification bell, like Cleon likes to say, so that you're notified every time we go live. So thank you for joining. And don't forget, share. Share it with your friends and family. You don't want to be stingy. I always say it. Share it with them. Let them know that we're live. And for those of you who are going to be viewing this broadcast after we would have ended, I want to welcome you to, because let me tell you, you guys are special. You guys still click on the link, still watch the entire thing, still comment, and we are so happy when you do. I want you to also know that I check all comments. So make sure that you're dropping those comments, and I always read them and I respond to them as well. So thank you. I'm just going to, before I come to the guys, I just want to quickly shout out a few of my friends. Good evening. Good evening, Samantha, and my friend from Madison Square Garden, my colleague, he's there. Thank you for joining us. All right. Guys, talk to us. We had a good weekend. I had a good weekend. What about you? Oh, we're gonna start with Randy. Randy is the new guy on the block. So Randy, I'm
Oh,
starting with
yes. Thank you, Marcel, for having me. I've been following this program from the inception, and I must tell you that I've been enjoying it every single time it's on. All right. I'm pleased to be a part of the program finally. To
Happy to
share
have
my
you.
bits and to add whatever I can to continue to make this program a success. You've been doing a fantastic job. Of course, the guests that you would have had from night after night, Tyron Monford, my very good friend, a role model to me. I'm pleased to meet my brother here. I would have looked at him and I would have um, seen substance and know that he has character within him and so on. So I'm happy to be among the elites, so to speak. And so I had a good weekend. I was able to worship at my home church after a long time because we usually be about Tyrone will know how it is. We be about preaching and so on. So being at your home church sometimes is a privilege, you know what I mean? With the appointment. So my weekend was quiet with my home church family and so on. Yeah.
Okay. Tyrone, what special happened this weekend?
Well, this weekend, good night, good evening, everyone. Randy, I always remember the sermon that you preached. The was a uniform program we had, a youth program, youth accreditation program.
Oh, yes,
Yeah,
yes,
we traveled to different churches to preach, and your
yes,
sermon
yes,
was never give up, never give up.
yes, yes,
I remember
yes.
that sermon. Keep up the good work.
Yeah,
My
man.
weekend was
God be
good, you
praised.
know. My weekend was good. I don't have anything that happens special on the weekends because most times I'm just indoor. I'm an indoor guy, so
Mm,
most of them I'm just indoor, keeping it simple, simple and sweet. So,
okay.
and that's good.
All right. Uncle Augie, any special occasion you had to play out at this weekend?
Play out? No, 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 no. We were actually supposed to go away this weekend to celebrate 16 years of me still coming home to the same house.
Happy anniversary. There you
Wow,
go.
What a way to put
wow.
it.
Yeah, but we didn't go anywhere and we were just fine. We spent it here and my nephew came over and celebrated with us and it was all around a good weekend. Had a nice time. Had a nice time.
Wonderful.
Okay,
Great, great,
great, great.
great. What about you,
So
Marcel? How was yours?
I actually did a few things that I can't even say
She was right,
live,
right. You're
but I
striking
had a
I
right.
know.
I had a
I noticed that. I noticed that. I had to look and look again.
you see
28 years.
how we're looking of flush,
Rosie.
Rosie.
Wow. But after 28 years, Marcel.
38 years.
28 years, right? You saw me riding, and that was 6.1 miles. It's as if
Wow.
riding from Georgetown to UG area, Pleasance, right? Yes, yes,
And
yeah.
indeed, some things you'll never forget, like riding.
Can't forget. I mean, I was a little unsteady at the start, but yes. But guys, I'm so happy that you've joined us, and I know we're going to have a really, really good time with Kristojay this evening. Guys, don't forget, I want to see you sharing the broadcast. I want to see you sharing. Don't forget to share. We want to share and we want to also hear from you. All right, we want to hear from you. Don't be stingy with your comments. We want you to be involved. All right, so stay tuned. We'll be right back. Okay, we're back. We're back. And we are going to plunge right into tonight's program. And I'm starting off with Kristojay's first question. All right. Thank you, Adele. I'm seeing Adele and Harris and all these beautiful people, Miss Jennifer and Nathaniel. Listen, guys, thank you for joining us. We're so happy that you're here. Purpose driven Arendella. She's in the house, y'all. So thank you all. Thank you. Just keep sharing the live, please. Bringing your friends on. All right. So here is question 1.
In one of our earlier podcasts, we asked the question, what is a good Christian? Someone said the question was invalid, as one cannot be a Christian and be bad. What is your take on that?
You know, I would go back to the Bible. David was described as a man after God's own heart, and David sinned. He slept with another man's wife, right? Of course, people weren't called Christians at that time, but I would definitely say that the Bible said that the Spirit of the Lord was upon him from that day on, which was, years before. Yeah. And, there are times I wouldn't say there are bad Christians, but I would say that as Christians, we all sin. We all fall under God's grace, but I would not say that there are no, how would I say? We all fall at some point, but I wouldn't say we're being bad Christians per se, right? I would just say that we all fall at some point in time. And the thing is that we tend to look at what we deem to be evil, lying, stealing, adultery, and fornication. But guess what? Not communing with your brother is also a sin, right? Not taking communion is also a sin, because the Bible says that to him that knoweth to do good and doeth it not, to him it is sin. So we all fall short in some way or fashion. So I wouldn't say that I wouldn't agree with the individual necessarily, because we all just fall short at some point, and they're not being, let's not say good or bad Christian, but let's say walking the way we should, or not walking in the spirit as we should, because we tend to fall into the flesh at some point, whether or not we even realize it.
All right. So we're Christians who sometimes do bad things.
Yes. Right. Yes. That's good.
Okay.
Lots of food, guy. Jumping.
Oh, yes. Well, for me, the question I ask myself, is there any such thing as a bad Christian or a good Christian? Christian simply means follower of Christ. So for me, it's either I'm a Christian or I'm not. All right. Okay. And being a Christian doesn't mean that I will not sin from time to time, or I will not fall from time to time. It happens to the best of us.
Right.
All right. And I like how you would have phrased it just now, Marcel, when you said we are Christian who sometimes do bad things.
Right.
So it's either we are Christian or we are not. Either we follow in Christ or we are not. And as we follow Christ, as we endeavor to be a Christian, I think the notion or the inclination to do evil will simply diminish as time goes by. You know what I mean? So for me, it's either you're a Christian or not. There's no bad or good Christian to me. Just Christian that sometimes succumb to doing bad things, in my humble opinion.
Okay. All right. Before Tyrone goes, you're at the Georgetown Tea House, and as is customary, we always have something to drink. We have tea on a regular, but since it's summer and it's hot, I'm actually having something called lemonade. No. You know the Guyanese lemonade? No, Guyanese lemonade. No, they like in a green short bottle. I'm having that tonight. I'm taking a sip.
Yes.
Wow.
Good lemonade from Lipton. All right. Georgetown lemonade. Yes, Tyrone, go right ahead.
I beg to differ a bit. But what the person explained was a man of God making bad decisions, which is what Randy spoke about a while ago. However, I will not use the word good and bad.
Okay.
I'll use the word genuine and fake. Because when Christ met Nathaniel, he says, here's a true Israelite. Here's a genuine Israelite. In other words, here's a man whose heart doesn't have deceit. He's not deceitful.
Okay.
So we have Christians who are genuine in the heart, and there are those who are deceitful. And Paul says this: an Israelite indeed is one who is genuine. I'm paraphrasing.
Okay.
All right. So instead of using good and bad, I'll use the word genuine and false or fake.
All right. Okay. Yes, Uncle Augie.
I hear where we're going, and we all correct in a special different way. But I would have to lean more to the way that Kristojay put it. In terms of, yes, I believe that there are good and bad Christians, but what I would have to determine as a bad Christian is the one who falls and doesn't get back up. If you're following behind Christ, with the song says it's a mighty long road to travel, and it's a hard road to travel, mighty long way to go. You're following Christ and you trip. That's expected.
Yes.
But you get back up and you're still following, you're still a Christian. But if you get back up and turn around, now you're bad. You was a Christ because you're a Christian because you were following. But what did you do after you fell? Did you get back up and continue the journey? You're a good Christian. You didn't continue the journey. You're a bad Christian, which will eventually lead to you not being a Christian. So I would have to go with Kristojay.
If I may just ask a question quickly, at what point in time did the person stop being a Christian? Or at what point in time did the person stop being righteous?
The point in which they took their focus off completely.
They focus off of Christ.
Take your focus off
made
Christ
them
completely.
Christian.
Then yes, that means now you're a bad Christian, which means you're not going to be a bad Christian for long because you're no longer going to bear the name.
Okay.
Because
I want to reiterate what I said earlier, but then adding a word that Tyrone used.
Okay.
Right? A Christian, I said, is a follower of Christ. All right? So either you're a Christian or you're not. But and a Christian is someone who genuinely seek after truth. Somebody who genuinely, I'm using Tyrone terms now, goes after God, seeking God. You understand?
Okay.
And on that journey, it does not mean that you will not stumble from time to time, as many of the great prophets and so would have done in past. All right. But as Uncle Augie would have said or alluded to, they get up back and keep going. All right. So I am still sticking with it's either you're a Christian or not. But when you decided that you're going to be a Christian, you're going to follow Christ, is that you're genuinely seeking truth. You're genuinely going after God. And whether you fall or not, you are going to get back up because you're genuine about it. All right?
Okay.
Yeah.
All right. So we want to encourage, before Tyrone jump back in, I just want to thank you for joining. Thank you for your comments. And I'm looking at your comments. I'm going to put them up. So please keep making your putting your comments in the chat, and so that we can put them up and we can discuss them. All right. And don't forget to share the link. Don't forget to like the broadcast, so that others can join us and they can weigh in as well. All right. Yes, Tyrone.
So here what the wise man Solomon says: a righteous man falls 7 times and he gets up again. The righteous man, he never said the wicked, you know. It's the righteous man that falls 7 times and gets up again. Why does he get up? He doesn't get up to be righteous. He gets up because he's righteous.
Interesting.
Not to be righteous, but because he's righteous, he will get up again. And I think that's what Uncle Augie was explaining. The wicked man falls, and that's it. And I think that's the difference between a genuine Christian and one who's not genuine. Because remember, God looks at our motives, not necessarily our action, but what drives our actions.
Oh, wow. All right. So stay put, and we'll be right back. All right. So I don't want us to stay too long on one question. We got 15 to go through. All right. So let's decide on, is there such a thing as a good or bad Christian? Let's bring some kind of conclusion to that particular question. Tyrone, I'm going to give you the ball.
Genuine or fake?
Okay. All right, because Abby was agreeing with a point. I agree with genuine and fake. Okay, so you're sticking with that. All right. Okie dokes. All right, so we're moving on to question 2. All right, I'm moving on quickly to question 2. Here it goes.
Are you okay with the act of Adam joining his companion Eve in eating the fruit? Or should he have rebuked her, saying, "Sister, you're upon your own, and not in that"?
No, I'm definitely not with Adam eating the fruits. It's because Eve ate the fruit and they both ate the fruit that we have childbearing pain. So no, I'm not okay with it.
You're not okay with it.
I'm not okay with it.
He should have spoken up, right?
Yes, of course. I think he should have spoken up. As the man, he should have spoken up and said, you know what, God told us not to do this thing, so let's not do it. It's just that as it is today, there are things that women would do that their husbands will go along with, or partners will go along with, and vice versa, that we should speak up about. So no, I'm definitely not okay with it.
Okay. Yeah, I'm not okay with it either. I mean, don't blame me. Come on, you eat it as well. You could have really cautioned me and keep me in line. Headed home and all.
That's right. That's right.
If you were to stand in the midst of a congregation in heaven and look around, how do you think you'll be able to identify another Caribbean woman?
There's just something about a Caribbean woman, a kind of air, a kind of strength, a kind of poise that we identify with, like a common thread. I would say Black, yes, but then there are white Caribbean women as well, you know. So I won't discriminate in any way, but I would just say just women of strength and women of poise, women of strength and poise, but with gentleness and care as well. Yeah.
Okay. All right.
All right. Good evening. And
good evening, sir.
Good evening. How are you?
This is 15 Questions at the Georgetown Tea House. And our special guest this evening is Kristojay Paul out of Barbados via Jamaica. Gentlemen, good evening, and how are you?
Blessings. Fine, great. How are you?
Okay, great. All right, we're going to talk a little bit about Adam and Eve. Augie.
Yes, sir.
Let's say, I mean, you're married, you just spoke about your anniversary, celebrating your anniversary. So you were there at the beginning. It's you and your wife. You know this person. This person is special to you, and she goes and pick this fruit. Don't you think that because of your love for her, that y'all should sink or swim together? What's your take?
I've been known to be very straightforward sometimes, most of the time, pretty much all the time. So yes, Scott and I would have had to have that talk. Like, no, this one is broken. You need to make me another one. Take another rib.
Take another one.
I don't know. Yeah, take another rib because this one was defective. This ain't making no sense. Change another one with that one.
You're thinking with her. All right. Well,
No.
What about you, Randy?
I mean, as I thought about it, you must understand Adam's position. Adam was under a lot of pressure. I mean, is the only woman you have ever seen, you know.
Exactly.
But prior to that, Adam's way of doing things was one of always consulting with God. All right, God was always there to guide him. God would have given him privileges and so on. God usually would have come down into the garden and talk with him and so on. All right, so at that point, knowing that she would have done something that God um, forbid them not to do, me being in a position back then, even though this is the only woman, everything else in the garden has its peer, and this is the only one that looks like me, and knowing that I love her so much, for me, I must have had a talk with God. God, what is going to happen here now? What are we gonna do about this? You know
Right.
what I mean?
Mm.
Rather than just go and say, well, baby, I love you so much, I can eat if we die together. You know what I'm saying? I mean, God made us, God made her, and I would have consulted him on several other things, and we had conversations before. So knowing, well, yeah, man, she's straight from my side. Yeah, she ate the fruit. Um, yeah, she would have sinned. In my eyes, I would have seen that she would have done this thing. God and I had to have a conversation about this. Where are we gonna go from here?
We're
You
gonna
know
go
what
from
I mean?
all right,
You
all
know,
right.
Sister West.
Tyrone, how would you handle this, man? You
Well,
know, this
no,
person that you love so passionately, so dearly. You know, I mean, what do you do? Do you leave her all alone?
no, and look at Adam's story. It's a very powerful story. It's a very powerful
Mm-hmm.
story because the thing is, Adam made a decision, and for me, loves the
Mm-hmm.
decision. Adam made a decision when he saw the condition of his wife. He said, "You know what? I am going to take part because if Adam did not take part, he would have been gone a long time ago."
Mm.
So
Mm-hmm.
Adam simply was saying, "This is a mistake my wife made, and I'm not going to put her aside because of the one mistake she made.
Right.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
I'm not going to put her aside." So what he did was he expressed love towards his wife. That was his way of loving his wife. And the devil is a very smart man, because of Eve's focus, because of what she was made to do, he went to Eve because he knew that once he got Eve, he would have gotten Adam.
Adam. Yeah.
Adam
Mm-hmm.
made the
Mm-hmm.
decision and said, "Okay, I'm going to take part of your sin, so to speak,
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
to save
Mm-hmm.
you."
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
And it's a great spiritual lesson in that Christ said, "I'm going to become what you are to save you."
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. But you know, Tyrone, if I can just interject here quickly, I don't have to partake in what he would have done um to show support. You know what I'm saying? I did not have to put her away by not eating the fruit. You understand? Or by you understand what I'm saying? Eating the fruit doesn't mean I'm putting her away in my humble opinion. I can still I could have still supported her like I'm saying by consulting with God, by talking with God. Father, this is what happened. You would have created all of this, you would have made this. You understand what I'm saying? I'm trying to put myself in Adam's
In
shoe.
Adam's shoes.
Me, right? Me being there on the day. All right. I know I have love for her. Is eating this fruit going to change anything? You understand me? And for me, I believe that me talking with God on the way forward would have been my first but I wouldn't have put away my wife, so to speak, but I don't have to partake to identify with her or to show her that I'm supporting her, if you know what I mean, if you know where I'm coming from.
Right. Right.
No,
All right.
it's not a case. It's not a case of supporting what she did,
Mm-hmm, mm-hmm. No, but
but
I
it's a
understand,
case of making
but
the
sympathizing with
decision
her.
to
Mm-hmm,
save her life.
Mm-hmm.
To save her life, because had he not taken of the fruit,
mm-hmm.
had he not taken of the fruit, God would have dealt with Eve.
But hold on,
All right.
let me
Exactly.
just throw
All
something
right. Go
real quick.
ahead. Go
Exactly.
ahead, Augie, and then we'll move
Let
on.
me
Go
just
ahead,
throw
Augie.
something in there because I have a saying that's everybody says what they would have done after the game is over if they would have won.
Mm-hmm,
So with that being said, how do we know that if Adam didn't partake of it, he would have still been pure? So now he could have been the intercessor to say, listen, God, please, I didn't partake on this, but can you spare her? Or he might have been
Exactly.
No,
like,
that
if
that
he
would never
didn't give
happen.
up his peace.
That could never happen.
Exactly. Huh?
Because man cannot intercede on a sinner's behalf.
No. Yeah, we
talking
get
No,
that.
about
But
that,
what?
that, that's a,
No,
that's a big
no. But what?
Tyrone.
No,
That
no. But what?
one,
No, but what Uncle Augie is trying to say, Tyron, is that hey, and it came and I mean it comes right back to what I'm saying. I had to consult with God. He created everything. He made Eve. You know what I'm saying? And he said, look, don't eat of this fruit. She went ahead and she did what God told her not to do. Now again, me not knowing what to do and knowing that eating it is wrong and would have gotten me in the same position that she is in right now, I would have had to talk to God, who usually comes in the cool of the day and talk with me and so on. So why not have a conversation with him about what my wife would have done?
all right, interesting. It seems that there are a lot of points to make about this one. So we're gonna move on with Kristojay, and
Yeah.
in between responding to Kristojay, we're gonna bring this this partnership thing down to earth, and
Yeah.
we are gonna look at how do we men respond? What do we do? What do we say to demonstrate that we are truly in love, head over ears, whatever you may, that we're truly in love with a woman. All right? So we'll move on with Kristojay and we'll continue our conversations. Please continue to like and share the broadcast and feel free to pass on your comments.
What are 3 words you would never use to describe another human being, and why not?
3 words. I don't know why disgusting came to mind, but I have described few people as disgusting because they really were. I think huge, maybe huge is not a nice word to describe as in somebody physical.
Okay.
Especially if there might be obese, but you don't know what might be going on with them.
Like the root cause.
Right. I would also say in Jamaica, my complexion would be browning, right? We say browning in Jamaica, right?
Right.
But then in Barbados, my complexion is red. And I wouldn't call somebody red.
Wow. Well, in Guyana, where I was born, right?
Yes.
Red woman, red girl.
I know.
Black
well,
girl,
my
brown
husband is
girl.
Guyanese too, so. I don't know if it's like an Eastern Caribbean thing, but when I first came to Barbados, I was like, red? Like for me, this is red. Right. But yeah, I guess that's one word I wouldn't say.
So red woman kind of, just rubs you wrong.
I wouldn't say terribly wrong, but because I understand it's a part of culture, it's a part of the, the parlance, etc. But I mean, it's not my favorite word to be described,
Right.
and some people accept it for themselves too, which is fine, but for me personally, yeah. And the third word, I don't know, I'm trying to think of a third word. It's just not coming to me. I don't think it's nice to call somebody ugly.
Okay.
Because that's God's creation. They might be ugly on the inside, but it comes out on the outside. But yeah, I guess those would be my 3 words.
But Kristojay, I'm gonna push you further here.
All right.
Some people are pleasant to look at, and others aren't.
Yes.
And we know that we've been told, from childhood that you're not to call people ugly, not to call people, because we now grown up, we know that the values of people is what we look at, right?
Right.
The character.
Right.
But some people just not you know. So what do we say instead of oh, she ugly or he ugly?
Well, I would just say she's not the most attractive. Those are the words that I use.
Okay.
Because I don't call, I don't know, I don't outrightly say ugly. I'm gonna just say they're not the most attractive. And I've seen some very unattractive people when they come to know the Lord and their lives really make a turnaround. Their whole countenance changes, and so yeah, that's what I say.
Right. Augie, you grew up, primarily in Britain. Did you ever encounter this whole, browning, red woman kind of lingo?
Yes. Growing up, I was actually called the red skin, and I hated it because I was a lot lighter than I am now, but I still have a reddish tone to my skin. I was glad when I got a little bit of color because my brothers have a little bit more darkness to them.
Mhm.
And coming up, yes, I really did not like it at all because it was always this red skin boy. Oh gosh, I didn't like it. No.
They like to feel it there. All right. Tyrone, we're all God's creation. What's your whole take on, why we still view how did the word ugly, you think, come into our
That's a challenging one to basically look at the history of the history of ugliness. But I think it's sin is the result of that. That's how I put it. Because sin disrupted God's creation, and because of genetics and sin and whatever it is, we have these person that look different, and that's what makes the world a beautiful place.
Tyrone uses the word different.
Yeah, they look different. They look
a good word
physically and facially different.
Facially challenged.
Not challenged, different. Challenge different thing, man. Different, not challenged.
Right. We're gonna move on.
What is love? And why is it so damn painful?
What is love? People say love is a feeling you feel when you but but love to me, love can't be defined in any one sentence, other than to say God is love, which is still very open. It's very profound, but still very open.
Yeah.
But I can't define love. It's just when you give of yourself, and when somebody gives to you in return as well. I think that is love. When you go beyond your feelings, your emotions, when you go beyond your situation to reach out to someone, that is love. When you do something simple for somebody in need, that is love. Give somebody a hug, genuine hug in care, that is love. Why is it so painful? Because boy, some people just don't know how to accept it. Some people don't know how to accept love, or they don't. Some people also don't know how to give love. I will tell you this: when I got married, I learned early that it was not about loving the way I wanted to love, when I wanted to do it, how I wanted to do it, because my husband speaks one love language and I speak another, so I had to change my mindset, early o'clock, to understand that this is how this man feels loved and this is how I need to show it. And that was sacrificial. And he does the same for me. So that is what when it's not done, when you give of yourself and then it's not received or it's not appreciated, that's the word I want to say. And it would hurt. It would hurt. But guess what? You still do it because you're the person.
Right. So you're now comfortable with giving up. You're comfortable with that sacrifice that you made.
Well, I wouldn't say comfortable. I mean, comfortable with those that I have made, yes. But I wouldn't say it's a comfortable feeling to continue to do it all the time. But I am more inclined because I understand that it's in giving of myself that he would feel loved in the way that I do it for him, and he would appreciate it. And then he does the same for me. So it's like I heard on Focus on the Family, I think it was once, where you give in the person's love language, then the person is full and they can give you back in your love language. So it goes both ways.
All right. You talk about hugging. Are you a hugger?
I am, but not right now. Not since COVID.
Right.
You
know? All right. Love. Randy, in one sentence, tell us what is love, and then give us one example in which, where you can look at two people and know, okay, this man is very much in love with this woman. Tell us something that men do or say when they're madly in love.
Apart from love is a feeling that you feel when you get a feeling you never felt before. Love to me in one sentence or in a couple of words, love is selflessness to another.
Okay, cool. All right.
Selflessness to
give
another.
us one way in which we know that Randy is madly in love. What would Randy do or say?
For me, and my other half, she would know that I love her because there isn't anything that I wouldn't do for her.
You sure?
I am very protective. I'm telling you, I'm very. I am. Well, almost. Let me don't say everything, but who knows me? Let me put me out here. I say, well, it's three of us, my wife and two girls, and I would tell them, I said, look, those are my priority. Those are my most valuable possession. And so I will tell people, I said, look, you can try stuff with me and you may get away with it, but not with them. You know what I mean?
Right.
Not with them. Try it with me. Do it with me and get away with it. Depends on the mood I'm in. I'll just laugh it off and go my way. That's the kind of person I am. You know what I'm saying? But when it comes to them and then my wife and so on, there is nothing that I wouldn't do to ensure that they're happy and comfortable and so on. So that's one way.
All right, cool.
You know?
Okay, give us your definition of love in one sentence, and then tell us how you would act, when you're madly in love.
Love is giving. To me, love is given even when it's not deserved or you don't see a immediate reward. So how I play that out, as Randy just said, I'm very protective of my family. Very. And if I hear a noise, no matter what time of the night, trust and I'm going to jump clean out that bed. Nothing. I could have just done an argument. It don't matter. I'm out of that bed, down the steps with whatever I got on. We good. But that's my way of showing my love at whatever cost.
Right. I hear that. Tyrone, define love in one sentence.
One sentence. Yeah. The decision to be selfless for the betterment of the other.
Okay.
It's a decision you have to make.
Right.
And for me, how I know two people in love, the way they listen to each other. To me, listening is one of the best action to show that you love.
Yeah, point well taken. All right, we're moving on with Kristojay. You're watching 15 Questions at the Georgetown Tea House. Here we sit, we have something to drink, hot or cold, and, we talk about life and Christianity and the Bible and so on. So we'll be moving on with today's guest, Kristojay Paul of Barbados via Jamaica, and we'll be back.
All right, moving on. After sleeping for only one night with her husband, a just wedded bride decides that she wants to leave the marriage and she wants nothing more to do with the man.
Oh no.
Tell us three things that could have occurred on the wedding night that could have made the woman, that could have brought her to the edge.
That could have brought her to the edge. Well, there have been cases where on the first night of marriage, the husband rapes the wife, and that's unfortunate, but that is what it boils down to, where he forces her and where she's just not ready. There are times when in planning the wedding, you're tired, you're well tired, and you just want to just rest for a little bit before you consummate the marriage. Right. And I've heard of cases where the man just holds down the wife and says, "No, I wait too long for this."
Yes, premarital sex and the likes. Come on now.
Right.
Time over. Yeah.
Right. So that's one case.
Mm-hmm.
Another case, I guess, could be that sex wasn't to her expectation. Maybe that's what she got married for. Mm-hmm. And she realized, no, this man is just not. It's just not not up to scratch. But then that's a whole other story behind it too. So that's two. Three you said, right?
Yeah.
What could be the third one?
This one's a little serious, right?
Mhm.
You got a good friend from school, you know her well and thing, she gets married, you're there for the wedding, you wish her well, and the very next morning, she says, Tyrone, I done. I can't stay married. Based on your own life's experiences, what was one thing you think that could have happened on a wedding night to make a woman the very next morning to say, I done?
I'll give you a blanket one that anything can fit under.
Okay.
Mhm.
Maybe she would have seen or observed a hint of potential abuse in any way, shape, or form.
Okay.
And so rather than allowing it to grow or to fester, she said, you know what? No, I'm not going to stay.
Not going to stay contained. All right.
No, I'm not going to stay.
Let's continue.
I guess maybe something happened where she realized that he was with somebody else.
Okay.
She could have found out that same night after the wedding that he was with somebody else and didn't tell her.
Right. And that really turned things.
Right.
But number two, right? It's not been up to scratch. Now, we're told, we're Christian women, we learn that, premarital sex is a sin, etc. Right? But we're told that, we have to stay still that do us part. We in this thing for life. And if, sex and love making is one of the, the gifts of marriage.
Right.
If it's not up to scratch, how do I spend the rest of my life with this person? How do I
well, the thing is, it's because my husband was saying it's up to sometime this week, because we've been married for 17 years, right?
Okay.
And even when he does marital counseling, he would tell people, listen, sex is only like 3% of a marriage. And I've heard that statistic a number of times already too. It's not all of a marriage then. It plays its part very much, but it's not the whole marriage. And, there are things that can be learned, things that can be taught. Pornography and other forms of things, they give this ill perception of how reality is and how reality works, and movies that have sex scenes and so on, they give this bad perception of how things really are in true life. right? So people go in with this expectation, and then they fall, because that is what they're basing their own life on. But it's a case of communication and counseling, and just really getting to understand what your spouse wants, and making it happen for your spouse, right?
Okay.
And so
Okay, can we spoke about love language just now, because I'm saying if my love language is sex, and cuddling and stuff, and it's really not, I can't even begin to wrap my head around how I'm gonna last a year or more so the rest of my life. But I understand.
Randy.
Yes, sir.
All right. Now, you're in a position, let's say, of an elder or something, and a member of the congregation, she was married last night. She comes to say, Elder Randy, I can't stay married. What kind of situation do you think could bring a woman to that point, and how would you advise someone in that kind of predicament?
For me, I would, for a woman to get to that position, what what comes to mind is that she was generally not ready for marriage in the first place. All right, and that is why when somebody's getting or planning to get married, they go through the process of counseling, and that counseling process is to prepare them, to prepare the mind, all right, for what marriage entails. And like Mrs. Paul would have said, there are movies and novels and different um, different platforms that would steer one perception in a particular way, and so they go into marriage having this expectation, all right, or see things in this light, or it's supposed to be like this, all right. Now marriage is like an open book. It's like you and your wife coming together now to fill the pages now, all right. You and your wife coming together to fill the pages. And so someone who goes into marriage and runs out of it quickly, for whatever reason, all right, to me, mentally, they are not prepared for marriage. All right. I'm not going to sit here and say that my wife and I, it was always a smooth running. All right. But to get beyond those parts, you have to stick it out. You have to be mentally prepared, and you have to be able to accept the challenges of marriage and try to work with it. All right. So somebody coming to me as an elder and say, well, I can't stick to this man, I can't deal with this man anymore. I will have to I will have to go in depth and have a conversation with her to find out what really is the issue, and try to prepare her mentally. But just to run, especially if it's just something that we may tend to be trivial or frivolous. You understand what I'm saying? Certain things that can be worked out, right? You need to have dialogue about these things. You need to talk, and for me, persons being mentally prepared for marriage is a big issue.
All right. Augie, with all due respect to the Reverend Paul, 3%, Kristojay said, the Reverend said, sex,
Can't walk.
3% of marriage. Would you agree with that figure there, Augie?
That's too low.
Yeah, man, come on. From a man's
I mean, 3%.
perspective.
So, wait, hold on, Augie. Randy, you were saying 3% is cool?
Yeah, in Guyana term can't walk.
Oh. I thought 3% is cool.
In
Yeah, go
Guyana
ahead,
term,
Augie. What's your take
3%
on it?
can't walk.
You're muted. I think you're muted, Augie.
The Bible does say with God all things are possible.
I agree.
All right, Augie, I like it.
That's a safe answer.
And if I may jump in and say something, there's a text that I love in the Bible. The text, I think it's found in Hebrews when it spoke about Abraham. It said, God, I'm paraphrasing, God raised him who was good as dead. Who was good as dead. Check it out. It's right, man.
Tyrone, we can go in all directions.
Yeah. You know.
We know Abraham's story. At 99, he was as good as dead.
And you see, what Marcel and Sister Paul was saying, talking about too in terms of yes, well, that's a whole different conversation. And on its own, the wife was not expecting this and expecting that and so on. Let's say that the two person getting married, they are virgin. So sex is something new to them. It's something you got to figure out. You know what I'm saying? Something you got to figure out. You have to learn. Sometimes you may marry a partner that is more experienced than you. All right. So scratch up to that person. So sex up to that person might not be up to scratch, as Marcel would have alluded to. You understand what I'm saying? So the point is there is still room for that person to learn. The other partner must be willing to teach. You understand what I'm saying? To try to bring up that person to the standard that they require. You see, marriage has so many things that if you work together, you can achieve. And so the saying that the sex from this man is now up to scratch, so me one there with no more. It's something we can work out. I can turn this man into a bad heart.
Because you respect, Randy, given what we know about life, what we really know about life, do you think it's always something that can be worked out? There are times when it can be worked out, but I think you would know that there are times when it can't be worked out.
Yeah. Well, in more cases, there is always an exception, but in more cases, sometimes when you see people separate, in most cases, is something that is workable, something that you can work with. But it's just that two persons or somebody is not humble enough or too strong-headed enough and unwilling to give in and say, well, let me try it Tyrone way, or let me try it Randy way, or let me try it Marcel way to get this thing work. You understand what I'm saying? And most times, and sometimes it will show, if you look at it will show that persons who divorce. I have one of my best friend right now, his wife, he and his wife divorced, and his wife would say, I should have never left my husband. Because she realized it now that, and I've heard several elders in my church who have said, I should have never left my wife. I am the one who caused it, and I would have won. You understand what I'm saying? So after people realize that, hey, it's not something that we can't work out, but in the moment, maybe, like I said, we are not mentally prepared to deal with the challenges that marriage will come. But if we stick it out, but not always, as you would have alluded to, you can stick it out. Sometimes in the case of abuse and all of these things, you have to roll out at these things. You know what I mean? But
I think that Tyrone hit the nail on the head earlier when he said about communication, and that is really what it boils down to.
Beautiful. Yep.
Judge, let me just read the text to you. Hebrews chapter 11 and verse 12. The 5th chapter. Therefore sprang there even of one, and him as good as dead, so many as the stars of the sky in a multitude, and as the sand which is by the seashore innumerable. So God can raise any dead.
We'll keep moving.
And I like the word Tyrone. Any.
Is there a type of gift that you never get tired of, regardless of how often you're given it? It's always welcome.
I would say clothes. Clothes. You can give me some clothes and I won't get tired of that. I'm not a chocolates and flowers kind of girl. Okay. I like things that I can use. Okay. So anything that I can use that I like. Somebody gave me a gift once and I was like, okay, thanks. It's nice, but okay.
Not me.
not me. you know.
I have to regift. In the US here, everything's about regifting.
Yes.
Yes. Get
Regifting.
right?
Yes, that's true. That's true.
You regift.
Yeah.
And when you come to the US, have you visited the US and shop here?
Yes, definitely. Yeah.
So which store would you find Kristojay in if you visited?
Well, I've gone with my aunt a number of times to Ross.
That's the store, girl. That's the store.
Listen, once I got a Calvin Klein dress, a nice Calvin Klein dress for $12. I still wear it, and it is so nice. And
what do you eat on a regular that you really should not be eating?
A regular flour. Oh gosh, the flour.
What
flour?
What do you make with it?
Well, I do stuff, but my husband is more he does more stuff than I do. So he would do bakes. He would experiment. A lot of times you see him in the kitchen doing. I say, "What you making?" He said, "I don't even know. I just make."
I just mixing.
I just doing something, but it always tastes so good. So a lot of things, man. He would do some experiments with some kind of cake, some kind of bread, patties. He would make patties.
We call it patties.
Patties, yes, like cheese patties or beef patties.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, he would like whatever he feels like. Say in on the morning when he would get up and if he feels like making patties, he would just make patties and but flour makes me gain, but I still eat it.
You still eat it. Yeah. Are you a nickel salt bread girl?
I am, but not so much. I guess because we make our own stuff,
Okay.
So yeah, but I like salt bread. Nickels and crumbs. Crumbs is good too. Crumbs has really stepped up a lot here in Barbados.
Flour. Augie, you or Tyrone got any problems with flour? I mean, I remember Tyrone is like he falled off. So I mean, a man that's like falled off ain't got no problem with flour, right?
Not at all.
I love flour. Anything make with flour.
Anything make with flour.
Yeah,
exactly.
I just love it when my wife get on my nerves because I know if I start smell the curry, I know the roti coming right behind. Boom, we on good terms. Yeah. Make a roti and we good.
I don't like starting to eat roti because I don't stop. Serious. sometimes when I make roti, let's say if I'm making about 10 roti, by the time I finish baking it, just about 3 remaining.
Wow.
Yeah, you as bad as me.
Sometimes when I finish baking bread, by the time I finish the bread will be finished baking a whole pan of bread. Let's say 16 in a pan, 16 rolls in a pan. If I don't stop
I'll be very careful when they get coupled Tyrone Jr. They're not fighting the house, right, Augie?
Yep.
When them kids start biting in and thing.
No, they will like rice and so on. They wouldn't like flour.
All right, let's move on.
Who's your all-time favorite West Indies cricketer?
Oh, I think the first question would be, am I a cricket girl?
I'm going to ask that. I'm going straight in. I want you to say, oh no, I'm not a cricket. Because I'm going to ask you what kind of Caribbean girl you could be without being a cricketer.
I'm not, it's only because of my husband. It really is because of my husband. Because I was never a cricket girl. And when I came to Barbados, I think my first cricket match was when I was engaged, and he came to Jamaica. He went to Jamaica, and he really wanted to experience Sabina Park. So I went to Sabina Park, and oh my gosh, I was falling asleep. And he said to me, put on my glasses. So shades.
Was it a one day or test match?
I don't know. I just know it was a cricket match. I don't even. I'm sorry. I was football, maybe basketball, but cricket in my circles, that growing up in Jamaica, cricket was not really a thing. It was basketball and football, you know. So I really was surprised when I came to when I got married and came to Barbados and saw, cricket is a really big thing, really, you know. Thing, here, yeah. So I've gone to matches since, of course, and I understand the game more now. But in terms of my favorite cricketer,
well, I don't expect you to have one at
not
all.
too much. But there are ones that I admired. You know, there's a particular one day game that I remember. They had 4 runs to make, and Kristojay Paul was at the crease. Okay. And listen, that was nail biting, and Kristojay Paul hit a 6. Oh gosh,
roar.
Yes, that was so good. Give me goosebumps all now. Wow. But yeah, I think Chris Gale has done well, and of course Garfield Sobers, he's a hero here in Barbados.
Yes,
Sir Garfield Sobers.
They rung the bell.
Yes. And the gymnasium. There's a Garfield Sobers gymnasium here as well.
Right.
So, yeah.
Randy, can you be a true Caribbean woman and not like cricket?
Not at all. I really don't think so, because I mean, that's what the Caribbean identifies with, cricket and football. So I mean that, and I mean, we Caribbean people, I mean, the Caribbean girls, they will go to cricket whether they like it or not, because they know the guys are there and supporting and whatever. So you go. Likewise, we will go to an event that girls will probably like, but we don't like it, but we go and support anyhow. We end up liking it, you know what I mean? So there's different pull, but really and truly, cricket is a Caribbean thing. So I don't see how the cricket atmosphere, being in the stand, being on the mount and so on, as Tyrone would know, and in Guyana here, it's a fun feeling. So, you know what I mean, both male and female, we enjoy it. Win, as we would say, win, lose or draw, it's fun all the time.
I got you. What about you, Tyrone? Would you measure a woman's Caribbeanness by how much she's into cricket?
I think the era in which the female is born, you know.
Okay.
The generation. If you're born in my generation, I can't see that you would not like cricket. But now in this generation, you have all kind of different distractions and so on. Right. My favorite cricketer was Llewellyn Hooper. And as Randy says, when you step into cricket ground, especially in Guyana, I remember when Australia played Guyana, West Indies in Guyana, border was packed to capacity. I don't know how Guyana got into the ground, but border was packed. The atmosphere alone. That is when you hear men argue. And drink beers after they finish arguing. Or while they're arguing, drinking beer. That is when you see people talking as though they knew each other for years upon years upon years upon years.
Oh,
and it's just a nice atmosphere. It's just a nice atmosphere.
Yup.
Something just came to mind. We were talking earlier about things that men do to show that, hey, I really love this woman. Now, there's a move that I've heard of, that I'm familiar with. Tell me what's your take on this? What about the young man who really not into church? Really not, he's never been motivated to go to church and thing. And then he falls in love with this Christian girl. And in order to gain her attention, in order to have her take her seriously, he starts going to church with her. Do you think that's a good way to become a Christian, Augie?
If he genuinely, as we said before, love is given. So by him giving of himself to go, if she does what she's supposed to do as a Christian, he would end up loving it more than her.
Okay.
Because I know that before we got married, when we were going to counseling, I was an Adventist, my wife wasn't, and she decided after a little while that she wanted to get baptized. That was one of my things I asked. I said, "You getting baptized because of me? You got to do it for you. If I decide to skip town tomorrow, you in that." But she assured me, no, this has nothing to do with you. She was convinced that this is what she wanted to do. Now, looking 16 years later, she's the adventurer director, and she's actually spending more time than me. Where sometimes I'm saying, like, "Hey, you sure you don't want to go home?" So yes, if you do it the right way, then yeah, it could be beneficial to love.
Right.
Yep,
All right.
yep.
Our guest is actually challenging us with a little feedback there. Randy, you want to take Kristojay's question? She's saying, so the girl who doesn't like it, and she's talking about cricket, but goes with a guy who does, is not a real Caribbean girl. Let's hear you, Randy.
I mean, she is. She's supporting her Caribbean guy. You know what I mean? She is, and that's what we Caribbean people do. I mean, we go to events. We don't like. I mean, like I went to New York once, and I don't like baseball, but I went and looked at a baseball game because a friend was taking me, and I went to see people and so on. You know what I mean? In the Caribbean, like Karen said, the atmosphere of being in the cricket ground and so on, if just being in the presence of your friend, let's say your boyfriend or somebody you like, you know what I mean, you might end up falling in love with the cricket yourself. You never know. And you know, people who sometimes say that I don't like this sport is because they sometimes they really don't understand it. They never took the time to get to understand it. And sometimes being in one single cricket match, you would be amazed to see that person becomes an ardent cricketer more than you. You
Well,
know what I mean?
I guess the same thing could come with Christianity. I mean, somebody, you know,
Yeah,
you go
yes,
after a young lady, you know, just
beautiful.
because you're
Yeah,
interested in her, and you could actually become even
yeah,
more interested.
yeah, yes. And I wanted to, right, and
Yeah.
I wanted to contribute to Uncle Aggie's point in that way. Or I mean to the question that you asked, because indeed, it is not the ideal way for someone to go to church for just for the girl's sake, but when somebody is genuine, as Uncle you would have said, in many cases that I would have seen, that person end up being more of a Christian than the person they go for. You know what I mean? And I had before I married long time ago, long time ago. I'm not that old, a long time ago. My wife is a rock, so I have to
Well,
say that.
you don't gotta qualify that long. I mean, I don't know
Yes,
how
yes,
old you
yes.
are, so you gotta
Yeah.
qualify that long.
I mean, I had girlfriends before who were not Christian and were willing to come to church, and like Uncle, you would have said, "Yo, don't come to church for me," because I mean, it ain't guaranteed that this will work. But if you come to church for the right reason. I will prefer you be a Christian, be a Seventh-day Adventist like me, but just don't come for me. You know what I'm saying? So, but those persons genuinely turns out to be some wonderful Christian. I've known persons who we couldn't get to go to church, and we invite them to one social program. Tyron know the social we used to get, and the fellowship and the fun that they had. Those persons move up into church and became elders and all of these things, and they're in the church up to today. You know what I'm saying? So yeah, I mean, it's similar. It's very synonymous to the Christian realm also. It can work in that. It
All
works in
right, let's keep it
that
moving.
department.
Let's keep it moving.
How do you tell a friend that her husband or significant other might be cheating?
Well, I've always thought that if that were to happen, if I saw this happening, that I would tell the husband that he needs to tell her, he needs to fess up, he needs to confess, or I'm going to I'll give him a chance, and then I tell him, if you don't do it, I'm going to let her know. because too, you know, sometimes your friend might say, "Oh, but you're lying because you want him or something," you know. So I've always said that I would give him the chance to make the confession first, and then I would say, if you don't, I'm gonna let her know. And so that's how I would handle it, I think.
And if you know that she's happy, would you choose not to, not to say anything? I'm just gonna stay out, or would you be forced to say something? After analyzing the whole situation.
I think that's a part of love, as you talked about earlier. Because if I have a friend and if I love her, I'm not going to stand by knowing that this is happening and just be a standby person. And then, God forbid, something really, because the Bible says what happens in the dark comes to light, right? God forbid, something really, really bad happens. And then I'm there saying, oh my gosh, I shoulda, coulda, woulda, when I had a chance to get her out of the situation.
Okay.
So I will hurt her less to save her from being hurt worse later on.
Okay, I got you.
Yeah,
got you.
Just to add to that, if she doesn't want to accept it, then that's on her. Right? If she doesn't want to accept what I'm taking, because that would be the flip of the coin.
That I know.
Right?
Yeah.
Right. Because I don't want to stand by and say I should have when I could have. And that's on her if she doesn't accept it. Well, I did what I needed to do.
Augie, this is a very tricky one, because in that as to whether to tell a friend, hey, your partner, your spouse, I think your partner or spouse is cheating. You have to go on that assumption that the other person does not know. How do you deal with such a situation, Augie?
I've seen a court case where a best friend actually did that. And they went into court, and during the court case, it was actually Judge Judy. During the court, they were talking about, he was a cheater and blase, and the girlfriends were in on it and saying, and this is the reason why they were getting this divorce. Well, apparently, the judge asked her, the young lady says, well, look, is this the lady that he was cheating with? Yes, that's her. That's her. That's who he was kissing. That's who he was kissing on the cheek and hugging up and so on and so forth on numerous occasions. That's her. How could he bring her to court? He says, well, that's my sister. But they were already now at this case. So girlfriends, no. If you really love that friend, me personally, I'll talk to the person, as Crystal said. I will talk to the person and let them make that decision from that point. That's it. Because when they make back friends, you still in the. But anyhow.
Let me tell you a story, if I may, quickly. There is this guy from Linden, and those who from Linden can call it. I will call him by his call name. Those who know him is a Rasta man, real Rasta man, into the 12 tribe things and so on. All right? We just call it Slacker. But this guy is full of wisdom. Right? This is how he would approach a situation. I saw him did it once, and I really it really stuck with me. And this is how I would approach a situation. He had a friend, very good friend, who was my friend, and he knew that this guy's girlfriend, that this guy was so in love with his girlfriend that he's been with for quite some time. He used to go home by the girl, but he knew that this girl was cheating on this guy. Which is his good friend. We share the same good friend. All right. So he called the guy a day. As a matter of fact, we went by him and he called the guy the day. So let's say the guy is Tyrone. So this guy slacker was like, Tyrone, you like Samantha bad? Yeah, the guy said, yeah, I like, how long you are going around? There's all this conversation going on. There's this guy going, how long you're going around and so on. It's been a while, and so when last you went by she, I just go home and stuff and so on. And then he come around. If she cheat on you, what would you do? you know.
Mm.
And he was like, well, what I can do, I gotta move on because it's not something I can work around and what's not. You know what I'm saying? And then in the end, he said, "Man, this girl cheating on you." You understand me? But I like how we went around it because I mean, people just flip in the moment, eh? So he went around and he start question his friend. Question his friend. He know this girl is cheating on this guy, but he didn't come out and say, well, hey, the girl cheating on you, Next thing you know, the man gone and chop up the girl or something. But he found out about his mental state and you know what I mean? And so how
And
long you this girl?
so,
Yes, he carry
stop
around. So
thinking
I
that
will
this
do like
girl
that.
is psychology.
Yes, yes. So I mean I can tell my friend. Let me be honest with you. I can tell my friend.
All right.
Because I will expect my friend to tell me,
Okay.
but
So
I will be
Tyrone,
tactful in how I go about it.
would you snitch on your friend Tyrone?
I would not use the word snitch. I would use the word I'll have a conversation. And I think Randy made a very important point. Assessing the situation, assessing the
Mm-hmm.
mental state of
State
people.
of the individual, yeah, yeah, yeah.
Assessing when you assess that, then you will know how to tackle the situation. However,
Mm-hmm.
I believe, and I'll give an experience. One day, I was in Georgetown and I saw a very good friend of mine, and the friend we were talking. The person saw another friend,
Mm.
and the person said, "Hey, I see your partner down Regent Street." And I said, "The person never do that. Don't ever do that
Mm.
because you don't know the situation at home.
Mm-hmm.
Maybe the person's partner was not expecting him to be a Regent Street,
Mm.
and now you're gonna say, okay, I saw you down the road, saw your partner down the road." And I
Mm-hmm.
think, as Randy put up, we have to be wise.
Yup.
Yes, bring home the message. Yes,
Mm-hmm.
put them on the guard. But first of all, we should speak to the offender. Have a conversation with the offender. And if the offender continues, say, you know what? Well, I have to do something about it
Right. All
because other people are at risk. So it's how you go about doing it. But to stay silent and say, you know what? That's not my story. I'm not doing that.
Not in that. All right.
That's
You
that's
good.
that's that's a different thing. You sort it out together.
All right. You're watching 15 Questions at the Georgetown Tea House. Please continue to like and share. We still got a few questions remaining.
What can a close friend do or say that is sure to piss you off?
I guess it would be use something against me that I confided in you in.
Mm-hmm.
Um, if I confided in you, it means that I trusted you enough to keep
Yes.
it to yourself. And then it would really, that would be really upsetting to see you use it against me. It would be upsetting and hurtful.
Yeah.
But thankfully that has not happened to me before, and I pray it doesn't. But but yeah, that would really drive me.
Of a wall.
Yeah, it would.
How do you clean a badly burnt pot? Secrets here. Secrets coming out.
I use Sif or Vex. So I put it on first and let it work in, and then I scrub it off easier.
Is that Sif or
Vex?
Vex? Okay.
Vex is another brand name, but it's like
Okay.
Sif.
I remember Sif. Sif is the liquid, the nice liquidy one.
Right. It's like a thick liquid,
Yes.
like a creamy liquid. Yeah, right. Yeah. So that works for me. That really works.
All right. Randy, I know you this is your first time on the platform. Any special hints, any special methods with regard to cleaning a badly burnt pot? Anything you
Yeah,
see your
man.
mom or grandmother or your wife do?
Sand and coconut fiber works miracle.
Randy, that's enough energy, huh?
Yeah,
For me, how I will clean a body born pot? Put it outside.
Throw it
Get a
away.
new one and try not to burn it again.
What was you argue? Tyrone
Jesus.
says in these times, you got Amazon and you got all these places selling pots.
Yeah, man.
You know why why they got with a
Jesus.
badly burned pot, right?
It will make a nice plant pot.
Simple technique, and if all you want, you could try it. I got stainless steel pots here, and from time to time they catch a little extra. But what bun is cooked, so all right, they're a little overcooked.
Mhm.
All I do, I put a little water in the bottom of the pot and turn it on, and you'll be amazed as to how easy that come off. Just put a little water in there, heat it up. As soon as you put that dish detergent on there, it's gonna come right up with a little bit of heat.
All right. All right.
Uncle
Try
Aggie,
it.
you boil in the burn pot.
It's gonna come up because the pan expands. When the pan get cold, it's gonna be a hard thing to get it apart. Let the pan expand again, it'll come right up. Try it.
All right.
Well, I guess too is what you born in the pot and thing, So some things got a way of really sticking and being there for long.
I have to go and try that one now, Aggie.
Try it.
So maybe you save some pots, huh?
Yeah, save himself some money. Come on.
All right. We coming to the close. This is question number 15, and it's a very interesting one.
So the great King Solomon has asked you to appear at his court. He wants you to be his wife number 15. You know he's rich. You know he's wise. What will be your answer?
In this day and age, definitely not. No, thank you, sir. In this day and age, no. But I know that it was accepted then, which is a whole other way of thinking that I don't have. But no, I'm not sharing my mind. I'm sorry. Nope. I'll find another rich and wise man somewhere. Right?
One that is eyes only for you.
That's right. No, not that you're sleeping with somebody tonight and then tomorrow night. Nope.
You're not sharing at all.
No, ma'am. But you know what? I'm not about riches really. So we can be poor and make it together. I'm good. And you can be poor and wise too. I'll find a poor and wise man or another rich and wise man. But I'm not sharing you. And if I'm number 15, then you're gonna get a 16 and a 17. No.
It's a no.
No, please.
King Solomon. This man. All right. Thank you so much, Kristojay. It was so nice talking with you.
Yes, same here.
And yes, the laughter is infectious.
It is.
So I know. I saw. Wow. I'm now seeing what your mother missed.
Yeah.
Yes, I'm now seeing what she missed. Yes, thank you so very much for
having me
and answer 15 questions. Yes, it was amazing.
Thank you for having me, Marcel.
Yes, you're welcome.
And God bless you.
Thank you on the same with your music and your ministry and your work as a whole.
Thank you.
It's a blessing.
Bless you. Thank you.
All right. Randy, I think you're good at this one. With all due respect to the young women, the older women, all the women in our audience. For those of us, for those who know, at least a few biblical stories and things, and they know the importance and the stature of King Solomon. Is King Solomon, wise? Him being wise means he's got good, as the English people would say, he's got good banter. He could gaff, all right? And he got paper, all right? He got the Benjamin. So do you think that the modern day woman could actually resist a King Solomon, Randy?
For some, yes, and for many, no. The modern day women now have changed immensely. They have an open way of thinking now that is different from the yesteryear women, you know. So like someone will tell you straight, poor don't look good on me. You know what I mean? Poor don't work so well with me. So I got to do what I got to do to make it. You understand me? So if playing number 15 is gonna get me out of the dog hole and put me on the field, the playing field, then so be it. You know, some women won't have any qualms about it. You know, and so then there are others who like Sister Paul would have said she is a one man guy, and she prefers to have her own, even if things are not so good. You know, there are some women like that. You know, there were some women like that, and so you will find that. You know what I mean? I used to ask my wife sometimes if she can ever be with another man.
Tyrone, I mean, given the stature of King Solomon, man, you know, I mean, you're man, you know the word well. Do you think that you know, the women of the day would have been able to resist the charms of King Solomon?
I'm gonna make 2 points. I remember I read a story about the asking a child about King Solomon, and the child said King Solomon had 300 wives and 700 porcupines. But how does it begin? For you to be number 15 out of 1,000, that's a plus for you, eh? From that perspective, that's one. The second thing is, I think Solomon had it all put together. He had wisdom, he had words that can get to any woman. He had the riches. If you like money, he had the looks. If you were going for looks, he had the heart. He was a very nice person. So, in my opinion, he had it all put together. The only thing with today's women that might have caused to resist Solomon, is that way back then, I'm not too sure about the sexually transmitted diseases. But now, and all the sexually transmitted diseases that are around, that might be one thing at the back of a woman's mind now in contemplating. And then it is the culture in which Solomon lived also.
Exactly. I like the point, Tyler.
The culture that we live in now. Because we live in now. So he might have gone through it a lot, but the faithful few.
Culture back then, yeah.
Yeah, there's a culture back then. So
yeah, I love that.
He was a king. Not just he was the king.
Right.
You make it up. Imagine the queen, the most intelligent person. The queen came to Solomon and she could not figure out his wisdom. She had to bow to his wisdom, so to speak. She said, I've never seen or heard any man with such wisdom answering questions after questions. And when the queen started asking Solomon questions, those are some very tough questions. And the way Solomon responded, she melted at his wisdom. A queen.
You put her in a lap. Augie, how do you see this whole thing, man?
Listen, we in 2021. So for a woman to say now, wife number 15, the first thing is she gonna make sure there's no prenup. And second thing is she might be number 15, but you definitely might not be staying as number 1.
Right.
So, hey,
That would be the approach, huh?
there you go.
Right. All right, we're gonna have a few closing words on that very sentiment, and we will also please stay on, keep texting, keep sending your messages. We'll have a few closing remarks shortly, and Marshall will be here to say goodbye.
Okay, listen, man. I was, like they said, like backstage and watching and listening, and I was having a ball of a time. I was like throwing back and laughing. And King Solomon, that man would have. I would have asked. I told Kristojay, I would have accepted the proposal. Manga money, man got money, man got grab, right? Man could just carry me anyway. Anyways, good Christian women. In this time, we know that it is better. Tyrone alluded to the whole disease and everything. So I think in God's wisdom, in His wisdom now, in our time, the wisdom of being monogamous is the way to go. All right.
Yeah, and sometimes your peace of mind is what's important, huh?
Yes. No,
Your
definitely.
peace,
Definitely.
your peace of mind is what's important, and so having all the riches and having all of this, but then you don't have that peace of mind, that peace inside. That the simple things can make you happy. You don't have to be wealthy and have a position of prestige and all of these things to be happy. Like our guest would have said, Miss Paul. You know what I mean? She can still live a humble life and be happy with the person she really loves and so on. So your
Yeah.
peace of mind is what really matters, because you know what I mean.
But Randy, why you think Solomon had to write? It is
Why
better
you
to
had to?
live. Why Solomon had to write? It is better to live on your rooftop than to live in a house with a contentious woman. He had all of them, so he knew exactly. He knew
and
exactly.
they let him a dance.
He knew exactly what he was talking about when he says it's better to live on the rooftop, on the roof of your house, than in a
Yes,
house with a contentious woman. So
woman,
that's what I'm
true,
saying. Whenever
true.
we read Solomon wrote from the experience, and then he
Mm-hmm,
wrapped
mm-hmm.
up nicely. He said at the end of the day, all of this was just vanity and
Vanity and
vexation.
vexation. I wonder, but honestly, Tyrone, that's a really, really good point. I mean, and talking about contention in terms of the confusion in the house. They say when women in a house, right? And all these hormones and thing going on.
Yeah.
And I think that tonight I should have been in your room, and then somebody else in your room. I got issues with it, right?
Too much
So you
estrogen.
could imagine too
You,
much,
you, you you know,
right? But then, as
exactly.
Christian, you said, Yes, Tyrone, all about vanity and vexation in the spirit. I mean, after he would have had so much, I
Mhm.
mean, he had it all, you know. But he's in that position to say that, you
Yeah.
know, and so but we as humans we crave that because
Mhm.
we've not lived through, we've not had these experiences, so we still yearning for that.
Imagine he had a
Mm-hmm,
thousand.
mm-hmm.
Sometimes you only have one or two, and he had a thousand. And here what Solomon said: a woman can bring a man to a piece of bread.
Mm-hmm.
He knows what he's talking about. The woman has that potential to bring a man to a piece of bread,
Trust
bring
me.
him down to
Trust
absolutely
me.
nothing. And we
Trust
see
me.
that all the time that's happening.
Mhm.
So that is it
Trust
that
me.
men not learning from Solomon?
Mm-hmm.
Bring a piece of bread. All right. Anyway, guys, we are so happy that you joined us. I know, like I always say, I know a lot of you will watch this broadcast after we would have ended. And I want to thank you in advance. Thank you so much for choosing the Georgetown Tea House. And don't forget to drop your comments because we always go through the comments as well and we always respond to the comments. All right. So even after we leave, still write to us, still comment on a particular point, and somebody in the chat will learn from you. I really want to say a
Yeah.
big thank you to Randy, your first timer at the tea house.
Yes, I had a wonderful time, Marcel. I had a wonderful time, and and you need to have me back here. I want to be a part of it. It was fun. Um, chatting with you guys, catching up with you guys, sharing different different issues. And I must say, I am reading the comments, and Karen is funny, Karen Vaughn, and I'm reading, and I
Yes.
enjoy her tonight, So altogether it was a well put together program. I love it, I love it, I love it. Thanks again, Marcel, for having me.
Thank
And
you
and
so
and
much.
let's do it again. Let's do it again. I
Will
miss
do.
Cleon. Cleon is my good friend. Cleon is my good friend too. So right. So I know him from Bladen Hall and so on. So I would look at the program. So I hope I can get on to chat with these guys and so on.
Yes,
Thanks a lot.
Cleon couldn't
Appreciate
make
it.
it with us tonight, but he's amazing. Let me tell you, eyes be cracking up whenever Cleon.
Yeah,
If
yeah.
you're listening, we miss you and we love you so much at the tea house. We hope to have you here next Monday. Crystal J, thank you from the bottom of our hearts. You are such a beautiful guest. You answered those 15 questions so beautifully. We learned so much.
Yes.
We
Beautiful
discussed,
name and a beautiful lady.
yes, with a great voice as well. You got to hear her sing. As a matter of fact, don't forget if you're on YouTube, just check out
Yeah,
Kristen J.
I
Paul.
have to go check her out.
Yes,
Yeah.
she has music up there. All right, so just you can go to her Facebook page, Kristojay J. Paul, and check her out. Just peruse her page and get to know her a little more.
Yeah,
So
yeah,
thank you
yeah.
so very much, Kristojay J. Tyrone, anything closing?
Yeah, I want to say from my closing point is,
Yes,
and I'm speaking to whoever's listening,
yes.
just like Adam took Eve's condition to save her, Christ took on our condition to save us.
Okay.
Beautiful, 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 beautiful,
Uncle
beautiful. And
Augie?
and as the song says, just a little talk with Jesus makes it right. Makes all right.
Yes, thank you so much. Uncle Augie?
Yes, I really enjoyed myself. I mean, the discussions, they're getting deeper and deeper. It's almost like we're gonna have to extend this program or something. Because I'm
Ah,
watching it, all the comments inside it there, and man, we
I
didn't even get
know,
a chance to answer all of them.
I know. We didn't even go in really in depth. I know,
yeah,
Mhm.
yeah.
I know. All right, thank you so much, guys. Thank you everybody for logging on. Thank you for sharing. It was so very nice having you all here with us tonight. Really? You heard that? Krista J said her husband is
All
from.
boys tongue.
Yes, man.
Hmm. All boys tongue originally.
Oh, look at that.
Wow.
Look at that. You see, I am
The
learning something now.
I
Oh,
like the
wow.
spell. I like
Please
the
Chinese
spelling she
guy.
got there.
leave her alone, please.
Mm-hmm.
Chris J, kindly tell Reverend Paul hello for us. Yes, thank you so much, guys, everybody, for contributing to this beautiful program every Monday. We really appreciate you coming in and sharing your thoughts, sharing your views, making us laugh, cackling out to a joke and putting something that is funny there for us, something thoughtful, something to take us through the week. This program is geared to educate us as well, for us to store us and to stimulate our minds. All right. So thank you again. And we love you all, and we can't wait for next Monday to come where we can share again and again with
Oh
you.
yes.
Love you all and good night.
Yeah.
Good night.